Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. Ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing live footage of Midtown Manhattan's Time Warner Center as it gets cleared out and evacuated under a bomb threat. And I believe in the background there, is that Brian Stelter? Maybe that's Don Lemon. I'm not really sure, but they're getting on out as fast as they can. Dude's thinking, oh, crap, I forgot my phone inside, but I think it's gonna turn out good. I'm not sure. It's actually not looking so good right now, though. Not right there. That doesn't look good. Wait a minute. That's not good at all. God dog. All right. Well, of course I'm just joking. This is Don Lemon evacuating CNN. All right. Well, that's just a video of a bird that I really like. It's a bitchin' bird video, though. It reminds me of Bruce Willis. And speaking of Bruce Willis, I'm going to go ahead and settle a long-running family debate for all of you just in time for the holidays and confirm what many of you have probably already suspected, which is that Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. Yep, you're welcome. Sir Patrick Mack, mending households one video at a time. All right, well, we got a couple Q posts here, but I'm going to start off with the New York Post. We're talking about this. CNN evacuated after bomb threat at Time Warner Center. A bomb threat at the Time Warner Center in Manhattan caused evacuations at CNN's Midtown studios on Thursday night, but the building was later deemed safe, cops said. Cops at the Midtown North Precinct said that an investigation at Columbus Circle was ongoing and the streets were closed to pedestrian traffic. NBC News reported that an unsubstantiated telephone threat was called into the network by a person who said there were 5 bombs in the building. CNN anchor Brian Stelter said that the building had been evacuated. The NYPD is investigating a bomb threat near CNN NYC's office at Columbus Circle. Due to the threat, the office has been evacuated, Stelter tweeted shortly after 10:30 p.m. Right now, CNN is airing taped programming due to the disruption. Police searched the building and gave the all clear shortly before midnight, allowing people to re-enter. Okay, well, nobody wants anybody to get hurt, of course, but that's pretty funky timing, huh? So right now, CNN is airing taped programming due to the disruption. So instead of hearing the same old crap with today's date on it, you're just going to have to deal with the same old crap with yesterday's date on it. All right. Well, look, I'm glad everyone is okay. It only takes one real bomb for this to be a terrible, terrible tragedy, and we don't want to wish that on anyone, obviously. But it just seems like another sorry failed attempt from the deep state, who, like I said yesterday, looks more and more weary. I'm just kind of referring you back to this picture. You can sort of see it all over their face. And we see this all over the place now, whether it be our political figures or our figures in the media. Now, this to me very much looks like some sort of distraction. Could be to raid CNN. I'm not really sure. Maybe this is a perfect chance to get in there. But this bomb threat being 5 bombs turns out being nothing. Of course, you got to investigate every bomb threat. So that means that you've got to go in and investigate. So interesting timing, but it takes me back here to 2554 where Q says, will another attempt to delay be made? Of course, multiple attempts to delay will be made. We are in the 4th quarter. They're going to pull out everything. And we're sitting here looking at this kind of rolling our eyes thinking, quietly thinking, oh God, here we go again. Another bomb threat, another this, another that. And it's tough to be so cynical in a world like this because these are serious things. You have to investigate a bomb threat, right? But I think a lot of you are like me, where we kind of roll our eyes and we mutter under our breath because we know kind of what's up, right? We know that this is just another sad attempt to delay. So why are they doing all these sort of sad attempts like this? Well, because like I said, they're weary. They are out. They're just hurling up 3-pointers now because that's all they can really do. They've got no other options in their playbook. The funds are being cut. Everything is being cut. Their comms are being intercepted. So what else are they going to do? They're only going to be able to do what they know how to do. They didn't plan for this. She was never supposed to lose. So, all I can say is that this looks like a perfect time to create some cover, to get on in there and deal with whatever needs to be dealt with inside CNN. And of course, we know very well that our mainstream media is wrapped up with the alphabet agencies. We talked about this for months, and we're going to go ahead and move forward to this video right here, thanks to Blaze TV. I'm just going to show you a little clip here from CNN kind of displaying my point. Now, this is a little segment here on CNN. Many of you have probably already seen it. Don Lemon on the left and Chris Cuomo on the right. And they have this little debate in regards to how Don Lemon would deal with Donald Trump at the George H.W. Bush's funeral. If he were Obama, what would he have done? And the reason I'm showing you this video here is to show you this really deep state desperation. You can truly see it on both of their faces. At this point, the deep state is so done that they're kind of eating their own. Now, Chris Cuomo, although I think he's a knucklehead, he's no dummy, and he is most certainly a far superior intellect than Don Lemon. And you see this sort of being displayed in the fact that they don't have a plan anymore. So at this point, it's probably best to just go ahead and protect their own interests, especially if they're in the media. Because although many of these people may not be guilty of any kind of treason or anything like that, they may be dealing with some sort of sedition charges or whatnot. So we don't really know who's who exactly, but we do know that everyone's kind of protecting their own interests. And you see that here in the conversation. Let's check it out.
You don't have to show respect for that kind of person. Here, let me show you what I would have done. You don't have to. Let me show you. I want to show you something. Let me show you what I would have done. Okay, come here. Come here, Dom. Come here, Dom.
Poor Dom. You're petty and small.
Not petty and small. That's real, brother. That's real. And real it shows you this is not, nope, it's not. This is not about ideology. This is about the way someone conducts himself.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, CNN's Don Lemon. So we're going to play this again real quick here. I want you to notice that when Chris Cuomo calls him out and Don Lemon cocks his body literally to the side, and he kind of claps back saying, "That's real, brother," which does not sound like a real brother, but that's a different story. But I want you to notice that as soon as he says it, he drops his eyes, drops his chin, and you can see that even he doesn't believe it. Check it out.
You're petty and small.
Not petty and small. That's real, brother. That's real. And real it shows you this is not, nope.
There you go right there. And Chris Cuomo's face tells the whole story. He's like, dude, seriously, I wish you were not on my team right now. We're losing so bad. And you suck, Don Lemon. I wish Sir Patrick Mack and all the iPotters were on my team. That's probably what he's thinking. And he'd be right. Now, he's not the only one making waves, Mr. Don Lemon. The president made some waves also because he tweeted this here earlier: fake news, the enemy of the people. And then, of course, about an hour later, we get this bomb threat. So everyone's freaking out all over Twitter. And I'm not going to even read those tweets because truly, if you want to see the worst of humanity, just scroll down on threads like this and you'll see exactly what's going on. But obviously there was a serious panic, and it just sort of lends to the idea that something was funky was going on down there at the Time Warner Center. Now, that New York Post article that I read you was from 11:06 p.m. on December 6th. And thanks to In the Matrix, who posted this. I'm not sure if this was his own screenshot or his own graphic or whatever, but he posted this earlier. And this is from a Google search. And you can see at the top that it was at 11:11, so it would have been a few minutes later. But then you see this header in the center of your screen here: CNN New York's offices evacuated due to bomb threat, posted on CNN 20 hours ago. Right. Okay. So, and then if you can kind of see, it's cut off here, but on the lower right part of your screen here, where it also says 20 hours ago, this is the New York Post article. I believe it's actually Variety, but it's the same picture that they were using. And I believe it was just kind of a copied story. Obviously, that shouldn't surprise you at all. But either way, all these were posted 20 hours ago. And even at the time I'm making this video still, it'll be later by the time you see it. But at the time that I'm making this video right now, it still hasn't been 20 hours. So what's up with that? Well, I think we know exactly what's up with that. Let's move on to these Q posts and talk about how and why. 25:60, 41 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m., we get this Hill article. Q says, read carefully. Why is the Clinton Foundation back in the news? So here we are. Feds received whistleblower evidence in 2017 alleging Clinton Foundation wrongdoing. When a House subcommittee chairman bangs his gavel next week to convene an unprecedented investigative hearing into the Clinton Foundation, two questions will linger as preeminent. Is the Clinton family charity really the international do-gooder that earned a perfect 4-star rating from Charity Navigator? Or does it suffer from corruption and illegalities, as conservatives allege? And if it is the latter, how much evidence of wrongdoing does the government possess? The answer to the first question is that the foundation and its projects reported collecting about $2.5 billion to help global crises, from AIDS to earthquakes, even as its own auditors, lawyers, and employees privately warned of problems over the years. The answer to the second question may reside in 6,000 pages of evidence attached to a whistleblower submission filed secretly more than a year ago with the IRS and FBI. That evidence was assembled by a private firm called MDA Analytics LLC, run by accomplished ex-federal criminal investigators who allege the Clinton Foundation engaged in illegal activities and may be liable for millions of dollars in delinquent taxes and penalties. In addition to the IRS, the firm's partners have had contact with prosecutors in the Maine Justice Department in Washington and FBI agents in Little Rock, Arkansas. And last week, a federal prosecutor suddenly asked for documents from their private investigation. The 48-page submission dated August 11, 2017, supports its claims with 95 exhibits, including internal legal reviews that the foundation conducted on itself in 2008 and 2011. Those reviews flagged serious concerns about legal compliance, improper commingling of personal and charity business, and quid pro quo promises made to donors while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. The submission also cites an interview its investigators conducted with Andrew Kessel that quotes the foundation's longtime chief financial officer as saying he was unable to stop former President Clinton from commingling personal business and charitable activities inside the foundation, and that he knows where all the bodies are buried. Looks like this guy Kessel knows where the bodies are buried. Let me skip forward a little bit here because this is interesting too. Given that special counsel Robert Mueller got the okay to investigate Michael Cohen and his attorney-client communications with President Trump, I imagine that hurdle could be overcome under the crime fraud exception, he said. Okay, so this looks like a little bit of political maneuvering. All right, you want to go ahead and investigate Michael Cohen? We'll go ahead and keep looking into this too. The whistleblower submission's public emergence comes at a sensitive time as President Trump has taken to Twitter in recent months to decry a lack of action by his Justice Department against the Clintons. And a GOP-led congressional subcommittee led by Representative Mark Meadows of North Carolina is planning to hold a hearing next week to review the work of John Huber, the special U.S. attorney named a year ago to investigate all things Clinton. Okay, so this looks like the bomb that Solomon was wanting to drop the other day and couldn't. So this is pretty interesting. And let's just talk a little bit more on this, and then I'll show you a little bit from his interview on Hannity. Kessel told those investigators that one of the biggest problems was Mr. Clinton's commingling and use of business and donated funds and his personal expenses, according to the whistleblower submission. There is no controlling Bill Clinton. He does whatever he wants and runs up incredible expenses with foundation funds, states a separate interview memo attached to the submission. Bill Clinton mixes and matches his personal business with that of the foundation. Many people within the foundation have tried to caution him about this, but he does not listen, and there really is no talking to him, the memo added. Okay, well, keep in mind that when the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, everybody is all set up working for you, you're not going to need to listen to this kind of thing, right? And that's how it went for many, many years. So this is a pretty big deal, and it seems to me that this is just another counter move. Look, if we've got everything, dropping everything would be overwhelming, and probably a lot of it would get lost in the shuffle. But as President Trump seems to allow little bit by bit to get let out into the public, this being another, excuse me, this is really what scares the deep state, and this is what has them so weathered. Because like I said, he's basically just prolonging their pain, and they're sort of just running themselves out of ammunition. But this all comes down to the Clinton Foundation. In order, I think, really to bring down Hillary Clinton like any kind of big mobster, you got to get him for, tax fraud. You got to get him for all these other things, some sort of racketeering or whatever. And that will eventually lead you to all the bigger things, because that we know that once the Clinton Foundation goes down, we're going to see everything else. Haiti, the Dominican Republic, this leads to so many things. Human trafficking. I mean, I could go on and on, right? We all know about all the misdeeds wrapped up with the Clinton Foundation. So this is a big deal, and this looks like the counter move. This looks like what Solomon was going to drop, and like I said, they ended up sacrificing one of their own in order to prolong some of these testimonies. Huber scheduled now for the 13th, and I imagine there's going to be lots of moves to shake that. Whether or not that date holds remains to be seen. But like I said in yesterday's video, look, nothing can stop what's coming. They can maybe delay it a little bit, but they can't stop it. And so in the process of delaying it, they just simply seem to be just running out of ammunition. Now let's check out a little bit of this interview from Hannity.
To me, that if all that evidence, 6,000 pages, is that total?
That's right, 6,000 pages, 95 exhibits.
95 exhibits. Okay, so now the question is, why don't we go through what they found and why we are here and why they have not been under more fire?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's interesting who they are, who made this complaint. These are former experts for the Drug Enforcement Agency, for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Connecticut, for major compliance for major Wall Street firms. These are people that live and breathe tax law and good governance, and they put together this complaint. They assembled a lot of internal documents from the Clinton Foundation, perhaps most importantly, 2 legal reviews that the Clinton Foundation did on itself. And what they found is that the Clinton Foundation itself, its own lawyers, warned that there was a strong possibility that donors were being made promises of quid pro quo favors from Secretary Clinton when she was in the Obama administration in return for gifts to the foundation. They warned that there was a culture of non-compliance, not wanting to comply with the law, with the rules that the foundation had to follow. They said that Bill Clinton's personal interest in his commingling of his personal business with the foundation posed a grave threat to the foundation itself. These are not Republicans, these are not partisans saying it. These are internal documents of lawyers hired by the Clinton Foundation to find out what was going on wrong in the foundation. This is what they found. So these investigators assemble all this evidence. They then go and they interview the current CFO, the longtime CFO of the Clinton Foundation, a guy named Andy Kessel. And they do this in November 16, and they take him out to dinner or lunch in New York, and they begin asking, hey, are there problems here? And according to their memo, their interview memo after they met with him, Kessel makes several spontaneous claims that he can't control Bill Clinton, that people have been trying to stop him from commingling personal business with the foundation, but nobody can control him. And he makes the most provocative of statements, allegedly, if you believe this memo, in which he says, I know where all the bodies are buried at the Clinton Foundation. So they assemble all this evidence. They give it to the IRS in August 16. They give it to the Maine Justice Department of Donald Trump's Justice Department in October 2017. And then in early 2018, they're called by the FBI in Little Rock, and they provide the evidence to the FBI in Little Rock, which means the main apparatus, the IRS and the FBI and the Justice Department, now have access to all of these allegations of wrongdoing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is big. As a matter of fact, I think I smell bacon. God, I love that smell. All right, I'm over here on teaparty.org, and I want to rememberize you of a story from August 17th. A local radio station in Little Rock, Arkansas reported a Boeing 757-233. And for those of you who like to get into the number stuff, remember 223 is a mirror image of 322. 322 is the skull and bones. Skull and bones, think Bush family. Tail number N119NA had been spotted with Department of Justice employees loading boxes of documents onto the plane on Wednesday. People have been asking about our story yesterday about federal agents loading boxes in a Boeing 757 at Little Rock Airport, said Doc Washburn of News Radio 102.9 KARN. They want to know how we know the boxes contain documents from the Clinton Foundation. We don't, but we can't think of anything else it would have been. They also want to know how we knew it was owned by the U.S. Department of Justice. Here's the proof. Now, I followed a thread like this. It might have been this very thread. So we had this DOJ plane, and it was registered to the DOJ. And it ended up making its way, let me see if I can find it here. It made its way to Virginia. Here's the flight path right here from John Basham on Twitter. Flight path and registration of the Justice Department Boeing 757-223 registration from Little Rock back to DC area. And there's the flight path right there. We covered this back at the time. And then I also just want to point out real quick here, I think it might be down, here we go, is that it came back Flight Radar 24 also shows the Boeing 757-223 registration was back again today and shows the flight in playback mode. Okay, so they were loading tons and tons of stuff. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you probably remember this story. So could this have been what they were talking about over on the Hill here when it said, in addition to the IRS, the firm's partners have had contact with prosecutors in the Maine Justice Department in Washington and FBI agents in Little Rock, Arkansas. And last week, a federal prosecutor suddenly asked for documents from their private investigation. Okay, well, if you remember the time that we were talking about that story back in, I guess it would have been August, we weren't really getting much. As a matter of fact, that whole thread there was just a thread from this local radio station. Nobody was talking about it. Well, now it makes sense why nobody's talking about it, right? And of course, we suspected it at the time. And if you'll also remember, at that same time that thread was going on, Jeff Sessions was in Arkansas. He was, I believe, in Hot Springs, but then he made a kind of a under the radar stopover at Little Rock. And we do know he went to Little Rock. So this is really, really incredible. This really does mean it could be moving forward. I have a feeling that this is what we were talking about all along with Huber. Let's hope so. We can only hope so, but the signs seem to point to it. I smell bacony, cheesy goodness. Let's move on to 2561. 56 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m., Q adds on. When did POTUS make the statement calm before the storm? That was October 5th, 2017. When was Huber activated by Sessions? That would have been March 29th, 2018. Who is assigned to Huber? Well, I guess you could say IG Horowitz and those 470 investigators. Acting AG primary purpose, that would be Whitaker there we're talking about there, AG Whitaker. And his primary purpose is to simply, I imagine, just drop the hammer. Scaramucci model, meaning I think that he's just there to do one thing and then he's going to get on. And his thing there is to basically show no emotion with all this and drop that hammer. Public opinion, optics do not matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you like him or not. Most people don't really know him well enough, so they can kind of try and smear his name through the media, but it's not really gaining a lot of steam. They're kind of trying to do that. And of course, hardcore leftists that just don't want to let this Trump-Russia collusion thing go, they're the only ones hanging on to this, but really it's not making any real waves. Whitaker is probably going to just simply do what he needs to do and get on. What was leaked today on purpose? Well, this was leaked from John Roberts. At Real Donald Trump wants to nominate William Barr to be the next Attorney General. Barr served as Attorney General during the Bush 41 presidency. While POTUS normally likes to surround himself with people he knows and likes, he doesn't know Barr, but Barr commands immense respect. Okay, so this is interesting that we have a Bush guy coming right on the heels of this Bush funeral. And of course, we've still got George W., who looks like he's doing a little reconciling. We talked a little bit about that in the video yesterday. It looks like he's made some deals with President Trump as well. So this should probably be this seems to me like a strategic move to sort of galvanize the right, if you will, kind of get more, never Trumper kind of Republicans on board. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see where this goes with Barr. Now, I think I'd like to talk about Barr more in a future video, but this is an interesting thing, and this seems to be the leak that we're talking about. So it looks like we have at least another contender here after Whitaker. Huber to testify regarding Clinton Foundation. Yeah, that's going to be on December 13th. Huber to reveal active probe actively underway into organization. Yeah, is that what we're talking about? And who's cooperating with all of that? OIG to release report number 2. Overview indicating many potentially criminal referrals made. Now, we've already had the OIG report months back, and it was tons and tons of pages of lots of stuff, but nobody really dug into it. It didn't get a lot of fanfare, and it's just sort of been sitting there. It doesn't necessarily mean that there weren't bombs in there. It just doesn't seem like anyone picked up on it. So now we're getting this number 2. Obviously, we want to make sure that this gets a lot more steam than the first one. But again, in brackets here, overview indicating many potentially criminal referrals made. And I think that's the real key right there. We're not just talking about carelessness. We're not just talking about, some improper emails. We're talking about criminal referrals. And of course, that's what Huber was there to do all along. Huber is a prosecutor. And with A.G. Whitaker not needing to really care about the public opinion, he can go ahead and do this. Doesn't really matter how people hate him, because it's probably so late in the game. At this point, he's going to come out clean anyway. And then he can move on and do whatever he needs to do. We can kind of get this this new AG going. Now, whether or not it's going to be Barr or not, I'm not really sure. We'll have to see. I have a feeling some other names might get tossed out there. It was just a rumor. But again, it was sort of this leak. It was a purposeful leak. So it seems to be something to get people scrambling, or at least get them talking about it. So I'm not really sure, really ready to commit on him yet. Then we get this quote here. We do not discuss active ongoing DOJ, FBI investigations, military intel, FISA. The world is watching. Yeah, FISA is just one aspect of this. John Solomon was talking about this too. The Clinton Foundation is a whole different thing. And then, of course, all these DOJ emails and everything like that. And, of course, we're going to see all these texts and emails start to come out regarding James Comey. 6,000 pages, and I think John Solomon said 95 different exhibits. So this is pretty massive. And at this point, because the left has really lost so much steam with this Trump-Russia collusion, the world is watching, and we're starting to really see this. And once we get back to the Clinton Foundation, if we can just get the light shining on the Clinton Foundation, I think a lot of these other channels, including myself and other truther channels like myself, we're also going to pick up a whole lot of steam, because we already know what's going on this. So we can kind of supplant this whole thing and really start adding fuel to the fire. And that is really when this could be potentially incredible. So there you go. Those are your Q posts. And let me leave you with this too. I want to show you this video from yesterday. Now here are some more clips from the other day. I made an analysis video yesterday, which is what I meant by yesterday, but you can see some of these things that were going on at the funeral. And I just want to point something out. Now I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm 4 years old here. I just want to show you this to have a good laugh. Check out this quick little clip of Henry Kissinger. Oh my God, that guy is halfway in the bag. All right, let's move on. Now I'm going to play this clip with the sound off, but first let me kind of set the scene. And for those of you who didn't see my video yesterday, let me kind of up-to-date you. We were watching some videos from this funeral, and in particular, a couple rows ahead of where we're looking right now, in the front row, was Hillary Clinton. And she opened up her program, and an envelope dropped out straight out of the center. It was already packed into her program. And Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, was sitting right next to her on her left, and his wife on his left. And as that dropped out, he immediately checked his program to look for his envelope, to which there was none. And as soon as he did, he looked at his wife and actually commented, "Do you have an envelope in there?" or what it looked to be something like, pertaining to that, because then she started to check too. And then he was real interested in what she got, and of course Hillary was fixated on it. We also showed another video of Jeb Bush being shown something by Laura Bush, and he immediately went just kind of, it looked like it took his breath away. So there was some interesting things, and I won't go much into that, but just to kind of set the scene for those of you who didn't catch the video, check out the video from yesterday and you'll be able to see that. But here's another one that somebody picked up on Twitter, and I want to show this to you. Like I said, I got the sound off. I don't want to get hit with copyright. But on the left side of your screen, you're going to see him a little bit more here where my mouse is. This is Joe Biden. And he also seems to have some, it looks that his materials are on the floor. And I'm not sure if that's his wife. I couldn't see it that well. A couple people are over here checking down below to see what's going on. It got dropped on the floor. And it looks like he got an envelope too. So watch as they sort of fumble with it. And then when they get it, he's going to look up and start talking over here as to kind of like, what is this? It looks like not everybody were getting envelopes. And whoever was getting envelopes seemed to be rather stunned. Check this out. You'll see them kind of reaching down there on the floor. I believe that's his wife. Is Al Gore right there. There you go. And they're picking something up here. They're looking. There's the program. There's something else down there. What is that? There's another program. And what else do they got? He starts thumbing through his program. And then she's got, what is that? Oh, is that an envelope? Hillary Clinton got one of those. And now they start looking at it. Check it. What's that? And they're all, what is that? And they look up. Now it's cut away there so you can see what's up. But let me go ahead and just go back to that little frame there. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, it's kind of a quizzical look. And everyone's fixated. Looks like everyone, even this guy, I'm not sure who that is right there, but everyone in this row is checking it out. And everyone up here notices also, even it looks like even Barack Obama seems to notice. So these envelopes were an important deal, and it looks like Joe Biden got one of them. All right, kids, I got a lot more I want to talk to you about, but I want to get this video out, so I'm going to leave you with one more thing. This is a article from Sarah Carter. Report, Avenatti to lose cash, artwork, Ferrari in divorce settlement with wife. So it looks like Michael no longer driving that Bugatti. Avenatti is having some issues. Michael Avenatti, adult film star Stormy Daniels' lawyer, is finding himself in a messy divorce. Just this week, Avenatti announced he will no longer consider a 2020 presidential run. However, he made very clear in Tuesday's statement that he will not rest until Trump is removed from office. Boy, this guy can't stop running that mouth. My God. After consultation with my family and at their request, I have decided not to seek out the presidency of the United States in 2020. I do not make this decision lightly. I make it out of respect for my family, but for their concerns, I would run. Oh, okay. So it's like Hillary. I totally would. I will continue to represent Stormy Daniels and others against Donald Trump and his cronies and will not rest until Trump is removed from office and our republic and its values are restored. I will also continue with my nearly 20 years of speaking truth to power and representing those who need an advocate against the powerful. I remain concerned that the Democratic Party will move forward toward, nominating an individual who might make an exceptional president, but has no chance of actually beating Donald Trump. Yeah, we're not finding a whole lot over there on in the Eastern Conference. The party must immediately recognize that many of the likely candidates are not battle tested and have no real chance at winning. You're always talking like you're a warrior. We will not prevail in 2020 without a fighter. I remain hopeful the party finds one. Okay, there you go. So Michael Avenatti looks like he's out of the race for president. He's going to probably have to deal with some other issues. Well, we're sorry to see you go. I personally am, because I love your Twitter page, truly. All right, kids, that's all I got for you today. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to all of you who already do that. If you're new to my channel, welcome to you. Please keep in mind that you will be unclicked and unnotified and unsubscribed from time to time. Just please check back and click again. If Q posts, I generally post myself. And all my links are down below. My Gab, my BitChute, my Real.video, which is now Brighteon.com. My email is also down there, and I am on Twitter at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776, where I spend a lot of my time, particularly after dropping videos and right before. Okay, and let's see. My Patreon link is down below if you want to support the channel. You can email me down there. I even got a P.O. box if you like to go old school. All right, that's all I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sir Patrick Mack, and until next time, stay aware.